Hey, it's your girl Asha Dawson, founder and lead planner of Event Productions by Jen here in Atlanta. And today, I also wanted to discuss a current issue that's kind of going on. So as a wedding planner, I toggle a few different worlds, one of which is balancing things for my clients, of course, but also balancing things for my friends and my family who want the consultation of someone who's done this, right? Who's been a professional in this space and wants to know more. And so one of the questions I got from a friend who just got engaged was, help. I have no idea how to figure out who belongs on this guest list, right? So as I'm walking over to a coffee shop to get some work done, I just wanted to touch on this topic a little bit about how to decide your guest list from the beginning and how to shrink it. So one of the things that you want to consider for a guest list is starting big. I mean, start big. Don't start by eliminating people. Start by including everyone you know would enjoy your wedding day. You want to do this with your partner, okay? So maybe you start it and then, in a spreadsheet, then you give it to your fiance and say, here, add to it, whatever you want to do. But start big, guys. You really don't want to start by thinking you only need your immediate circles. You don't want to start with elimination, because what ends up happening is that people get left out. Family members' feelings get hurt, and then what you think is like well, that's just me having a boundary. What you thought was productive and efficient actually ended up causing more problems, because now you have to navigate how to, Aunt Sally is upset now because she didn't even get an invitation in the mail. And you're sitting there going, well, I knew you weren't going to come anyways, right? Well, let's give it some more thought. There's opportunity to have more thoughtfulness in the process. So first, start big, okay? Get 100, 200, 300 people, whatever it may be, down on that list. Once you have done that, that is when the chopping happens, okay? I recommend thinking about the people, prioritizing the people who you have spoken to in the last year to 3 years, in the last 1 to 3 years, right? Start with those folks. Those are going to be your obvious people, your closest friends, maybe some coworkers, your siblings, your immediate family, whatever it may be, right? Those people who you have regular contact with, those are your guarantees of who you're probably going to have, prioritized. Set those people apart. Then you kind of have the rest of the list, right? Which could be a combination of, that your best friend from graduate school, right? Who you were really, really close to when you still lived in Florida. But you don't live in Florida now. You live in New York. And so now you're kind of going, ooh, I loved them. We were so close. And I know if I saw them again, we'd pick right back up. That is the question right there. Do you want your wedding to be a reunion? Or do you want your wedding to be more exclusive? This is the classic question that brides have to consider all the time. Okay, well, couples have to consider all the time, really. Because some couples have no idea what to do with the people that they were once close to, and are no longer in regular contact with, and don't really see being in contact with after the wedding. So the question I give people, and I'm going to give my friend as well, that will help you get to the bottom of how to do this is very simple. Would you buy their dinner? If you saw them in real life, just hanging out wherever, right? And you ask them to go to dinner, would you buy their dinner? If the answer is yes, you are probably going to invite them to your wedding. You feel close enough that you will pay for their meal, right? That you would want to be in community with them. If you would not take this person to dinner to actually catch up with them, and certainly if you would not buy them dinner, right? I'm not talking about coffee, but dinner, I don't know that they necessarily should be at your wedding, right? So that is something to consider. Another thing to consider when you're formulating a guest list is, especially if you have a weekend of events for whatever experience you're doing, you can invite some people to some things and some to others. right? I've seen it done where couples have a list of folks who are invited to the ceremony, and then there are people who are invited to the reception. That's another way if you just can't make final decisions on your guest list. But to recap, the way you want to do this is start big and then divide. Divide between the people you've spoken to in the last 1 to 3 years, and then deal with everyone else and decide if you want this to be a reunion. Then next, you want to ask yourself the dinner question. Would I take this person or these people to dinner if I were to see them? Would I want to spend that much time with them? Would I want to spend money on them? Once you have the answers to that, you have the answers to who can be cut and who should be at your wedding.